and welcome to Newsfeed, your daily dose of what people are talking about online, from news stories to what's trending. Now, China's vast security apparatus has moved quickly to quell mass protests seen as the biggest threat to communist rule since the Tiananmen Square demonstrations in 1989. The unprecedented protests began over the weekend and have spread to more than a dozen cities in the country of 1.4 billion people. Residents are frustrated with the government's harsh zero COVID-19 policy and its constant lockdowns, quarantine, and mass testing. Police have increased patrols in many cities and have been checking cell phones, forcing residents to delete chat logs and clips from rallies, as you can see from this footage from a Shanghai train. But that hasn't stopped videos like this from getting out. Riot police in hazmat suits have clashed with protesters in the southern city of Guangzhou. In some cities, the heavy police presence has discouraged people from protesting, but clearly cops have been unable to fully stamp out dissent. And this sort of public display of opposition would have been unthinkable before. Increasingly, emboldened citizens have been not only protesting against the government, but also calling for President Xi Jinping to step down.
我们要勇敢一点！我打一朵花，我犯罪了吗？我犯法了吗？没有就好。他们不敢抓我们。不敢。我站这里有错吗？中国人需要勇敢一点。大家，昨天被抓走那么多人，他们的没有老婆孩子，没有工作吗？我们不用怕，怕什么呢？一个人是等着死的，我们都清楚，对不对？对。
As arrests like that continue to be carried out, police have also been tracking down people who participated in the protests. Some protesters reported receiving phone calls summoning them for interrogation. And others said cops visited their homes asking them for information about who else was at the rallies. This only underscores China's mixed approach in handling the unrest. After a weekend of demonstrations against harsh virus restrictions, authorities on Tuesday announced plans to ease pandemic rules. The country will speed up vaccinations for the elderly, China's most vulnerable and under-inoculated group. The move is seen as a critical step towards an exit ramp from its zero COVID-19 strategy, although some elderly citizens are concerned about easing the policy.
I am old now. I dare not be vaccinated. I have a pretty serious illness, a disease in my lungs. But if the doctor thinks I can get vaccinated, I will do it. I'm so old, so I decided not to get vaccinated.
It would be great if we accomplished zero COVID. Otherwise, the epidemic will definitely rebound. The epidemic is not like a cold which lasts for a while. The epidemic has been 3 years. This is the 4th year, right?
I have been vaccinated. I feel that it doesn't matter if we open up or not, although you always have to open up in the end. If you don't open up, how will the economy improve? Honestly.
And besides the police response we've seen on the streets, what sort of explanation or clarity have we seen from the Chinese government itself? Well, 2 words: awkward silence. Now, this clip of a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson trying to ignore or deflect, however you want to see it, has been making the rounds online.
The widespread display of anger and frustration at the zero COVID policy in recent days across China.
近期中国国内出现了对清零政策的不满，你对此有何回应？ Could you repeat the question, please?
A question from Reuters. Given the widespread display
近期中
of
国国内
frustration with the zero
表现
COVID
出了
policy,
对
is
清零
China
政策的不满，
considering
中方是
ending
否考虑
it soon, and if so,
在
when?
你谈到的有关情况与事实不符，中方。
Who can forget misinformation like this? Wearing a mask is bad for you. Vaccines cause autism. Governments inject tracking chips through jabs. Drinking disinfectant prevents disease. Well, the internet was full of false statements like that, and they spread faster than the coronavirus back in 2020. To monitor and control the situation online, Twitter had a COVID-19 misinformation policy. It was designed to remove tweets and accounts that were influencing others to violate recommended guidance from health authorities. Now Twitter has stopped enforcing it. Under its new boss Elon Musk, users can now say whatever they want about the virus. And it shouldn't come as a surprise, as Musk himself is known for spreading misinformation and not following guidelines. In the early days of the pandemic, he described the panic as dumb and tweeted misleading theories about death rates. And he claimed that children were immune to the virus, which was proven to be false. He also reopened a Tesla factory despite stay-at-home guidelines. U.S. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene's personal account was one of the ones that got suspended due to COVID misinformation. Now, as a part of Musk's general amnesty, it's back. Since then, she tweeted a couple of anti-mask and anti-vaccine posts on the platform. Okay, I want to make a confession. The person I send and receive messages from the most is actually myself. But before you ask, no, I'm not talking to myself. And it's not actually as sad or creepy as it sounds. Like millions of others, I use my messaging apps and email to send myself links, notes, reminders, and things that I would like to find easily when I change devices. It's a pretty good life hack. And now WhatsApp is here with a new feature to make it easier. The update allows users to send messages to their accounts to keep a piece of information. You can now get rid of all those no subject emails. Although it is new, some users have been self-chatting with a workaround for years.
Right now, WhatsApp are working on an update that will enable you to message yourself, but you can already do this. It's just that they are making it easier by bringing your contact among the contact list. So let me show you how you can message yourself on WhatsApp. So the first thing you need to do is that you need to save your number to your phone. And the second thing you should do is open WhatsApp. Go to any contact that you want. Then you're going to send your contact as a message. So click on the plus and right there, choose contact, then choose your number the way you saved it, then click on send. So once you send your number, you'll get that option written message. And when you click on message, you can now message yourself.
How to chat yourself on WhatsApp. You're gonna visit wa.me, then enter your number in international format. Tap enter, then open in WhatsApp. You can't call yourself, but you can send files here. Now you can send files between your phone and your computer easily.
Other apps like Signal, Slack, and Telegram also have similar features that allow users to text for personal use and bookmark important ones. And some of them even send you reminders. So you can just pick one platform and send yourself recipes, to-do lists, articles, and important links. But if you receive a reply, well, run. Disney boss Bob Iger has been back in the driver's seat just for a few days now, and he better buckle up, as it may be a bumpy start. Iger was expected to focus on turning a profit at Disney's streaming service and fix the financial gaps left by his predecessor. The theme parks and their workers were never at the top of Iger's agenda, especially since they were raking in cash and accounting for a third of Disney's revenue. But workers at the happiest place on earth are not that happy themselves. Many have complained that they simply cannot make ends meet. Housing shortages and rising property prices are making matters worse. With 70,000 workers, Disney World in Orlando is the biggest employer in Central Florida. Wage negotiations resumed on Tuesday with workers demanding salary rises, better health insurance plans, longer parental leave, and more generous retirement plans. The talks between Disney and unions have dragged on for months now, stalled by Hurricane Ian and the failure to reach consensus. But with the holiday season looming, Iger will be under pressure to keep them sweet. Well, when you wish upon a star, that bright light in the sky might turn out to be China's space station. The Taigong just began its first crew rotation with 3 taikonauts arriving for a 6-month mission. The Shenzhou 15 mission took off Tuesday night from the Jiuquan Satellite Launch Center in the Gobi Desert. Hours later, the crew reached the space station. They will stay there for a week before the old crew returns back to Earth. They'll be tasked with performing scientific experiments and completing the final touches on the habitat. Two of the new taikonauts have never been to space before. One of them, 57-year-old Fei Zhulong, has been training for 24 years for a mission. The Taigong, which means heavenly palace, includes 3 parts. It is expected to remain in low Earth orbit for another decade. The Taigong is smaller than the International Space Station, a joint U.S., European, Japanese, and Russian project, slated for a controlled return back to Earth in 2031. But amid tensions over the conflict in Ukraine, Russia has recently said it will pull out of the mission in 2024. That means other partners may have to replace the propulsion systems Russia ran. And while its space station's days are numbered, NASA's plans to return to the moon are well underway. The Artemis 1 mission sent back some unforgettable images from its journey around our planet's satellite. It's due back on December 11th. It also set a record for the farthest distance a spacecraft has ever traveled from Earth.
And then on Saturday, Orion surpassed the distance record for a mission with a spacecraft designed to carry humans into deep space. And that record before had been set by Apollo 13 at about 248,000 miles from Earth. And just over an hour ago, Orion set another record.
If you are, or pretending to be into films, you have to know the 1973 Martin Scorsese masterpiece Goncharov, right? You know, the one with Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, and Sybil Shepherd. It tells the story of a Russian gangster moving to Italy to escape from his life of violence. Well, Goncharov might be decades old, but it is Tumblr's favorite these days, and cinephiles are going crazy over it. Because why wouldn't they? It has everything: a murder, a love triangle, a striking original score, and a dramatic final scene that film buffs have been debating for years. It is often described as the greatest mafia movie ever. The official account of Tumblr says if you haven't seen it yet, well, shame on you. What else can be more important than this? And although he was not in the movie, actor Ryan Reynolds shared his favorite quote from Goncharov, saying it still gives him the chills. Still doesn't ring any bells? No surprise, because it was actually never made. And not even Martin Scorsese knows about its existence. But how did this happen? Well, a Tumblr user ordered a pair of knockoff boots, but they came with a strange tag. It said Martin Scorsese presents Goncharov, the greatest mafia movie ever made. Add netizens, and it becomes one big hallucination. Throw in those who think seeing is believing, and Goncharov becomes real. And now it's taken a life of its own. Netizens are creating plots, writing fresh dialogue for characters. There's fan art and even theme songs. And it doesn't stop there. The diehards are turning on those who refuse to buy into their make-believe. Seems like a new trend. Are you ready to hop on that train and make up another blockbuster non-existing movie? Here's how Goncharov took off.
The only problem is Goncharov doesn't exist. It's not a movie, it's never existed. Apparently someone did like a little research, and it's like a weird mistranslation about the movie Gomorrah, which is a film about the Naples Mafia, which the tag claims that this Goncharov movie is. But that was 2 years ago, that was in 2020, and off and on people joke about it, but like, you haven't seen Goncharov? You're not a real film, bro, if you haven't seen, whatever. But all of a sudden, within the past 2 days, it blew up, and I think I figured out why. All these new characters were introduced to us, and those are the ones that are in the AO3 fix. Again, there are fics for this movie that does not exist. I can't stress that enough. This is not real. There was also a fake gift set for the movie, and that gift set of this fake movie trailer got so popular that they actually had to add in the tags unreality. I very much appreciate this, that we're basically just taking things from all over and just making a movie like in our minds, like we're basically Mandela affecting ourselves. I appreciate that, but it's also like, what? This is weird.
Well, you know what I'm going to be looking for on Tumblr this evening. Anyway, that's our show. Find us on YouTube and do subscribe. See you tomorrow.